Hello. So many people around the world have heard of our vision for Homes of Hope, and they've heard about our teaching manuals on discipleship that go with it. And there are 5 in all, and this is the one on worship that is in print right now around the world. And the other 4, of course, are on the back, as you can see them here. One on the word, the walk, the work, and the witness. All 5 operate like a wheel of a car that's got a hub and then the spokes on the car, or a wheel of a bike. And the core message of the whole discipleship course is worship is a lifestyle, because everything we do should flow from that place of intimacy and relationship with the Lord through Jesus Christ. It determines everything. Works without worship is works of the flesh, and it's just effort. But when it comes from a place of worship and love, then everything we do is an act of worship. And so we've written a manual on worship, because in John chapter 4, it says when Jesus met the woman at the well, he says the Father seeks worshippers, them that worship in spirit and in truth. He doesn't seek the worship, he seeks the worshipper. And the way to have fellowship with the worshipper is through worship. Worship creates the environment for the Father to be all that he is in all of you. And then for you to live out that identity of being a joint heir with Christ through him. How can you use this course? Well, you can use these manuals personally, which is obviously the first thing that should happen anyway, that you use them personally and you go through them yourself. But they can also be used in a group setting. They can be used in a certain meeting where it can just be preached from if you want, but that's not the best way. Discipleship comes from repetitive things being shared with you over and over. And so the best thing is to go into this, and it's written in a daily study format. You can see on your screen examples of it. Each manual is written in the format of 42 daily studies, which is 6 weeks, written in a way that helps you recap and remember the subjects every day. You'll see from this picture that the beginning and the end of each day, or each session, if it takes longer than a day for you, it begins and ends with a memory verse, because we want to keep repeating memory verses and the concept. It's also got at the end of every session a recap section, so that you get an overview of all that you've studied in that session, and it reminds you of the key points. Once again, that purpose is just repetitive reminding you, because that's how we learn. On the 7th day, there is a recap study day. And that day is really all about looking back on the 6 studies that went before it, and you recap all the high points and the main themes of the 6 sessions that gone before. Well, of course, then the second week we follow the same pattern, but on the 14th day, instead of studying just the 6 days before, we study the 14 days. And we recap all 14 days. And the same happens on the 28th, etc., 21st, and the 28th, and the 34th, and the 42nd. Of course, the last session, you recap all the high points and all the themes of the whole manual that lasted 6 weeks. At the end, the last page gives you a challenge. What next? After you've done all the discipleship and all the studies, what next? And there's a challenge for everyone that's read the study and the manual to begin Homes of Hope, to begin a Homes of Hope discipleship cell, and invite other people to go through the manual with you. In a group setting, the manual used is slightly different. Everyone studies every daily session on their own at home, or they can do it with other people if they so desire, but predominantly it will be done at home, personal study. But everyone comes together in the group on the 7th day, the 14th day, the 21st, the 28th, 34th, and the 42nd day. Everybody comes together and they have a time of worship, a time of prayer, a time of fellowship, maybe a meal. And during that session, everybody contributes. We want to get everybody involved in that evening, where everybody recaps what they've read and asks questions if they had any questions that they want more clarity on. So it's a real interaction, recapping for the whole group, and we follow that pattern 6 times through the whole manual until the very end. And hopefully by the end, it's given great clarity and great depth of knowledge about each of the study manuals. At the end of the group session, we present everybody, obviously, with the same challenge that we presented the first person: to start a Homes of Hope discipleship cell in order to take others through the studies. Not everybody in the group may feel they can do it yet, but they may want to help somebody else do it. And they go off in 2s and 3s and start another one. The idea is to multiply the group. And in multiplying the group, you multiply the effect of reaching more and more people. Because the idea is to disciple as many people as we can possibly disciple, because that's the commission of Jesus. Multiplication and discipleship is the only way we will see the words of Jesus fulfilled when he said, "Go into all the world and make disciples of all nations." We have done church the way we predominantly do it today for over 1800 years, and we still have not reached the world with the gospel. Why? Because it's not the way that's most effective. Going to a church, belonging to a group of people, having a service, hearing a sermon can encourage you and bless you, etc., but it will never disciple you, and it's not going to disciple anybody else. It's not possible to do that. But we have to have a system that follows Jesus' blueprint, which is discipleship. Homes of Hope discipleship cells are created for that concept to begin to happen. They are spiritual family units. They're not the same as a Bible study group. It's the same principle as raising sons and daughters. You can't raise a son and daughter by going to a meeting once a week. You can't raise a son and daughter by having a little chat every now and again about something. You raise a son and daughter in a family environment where they not only hear what somebody says, but they see it in action. I've always said, if you want your children to be worshippers, you have to be the first worshipper. If you want to see them praying, they have to see and hear you praying. If you want them to have a love for the Bible, you've got to give them the love of the Bible by showing them first that you have a love for the Bible and that you trust it and you believe in the Word of God. Then you have a chance of doing that. And so we have to do it. It's an on-day. Do you remember just naturally with a normal family, the parents raise the children bit by bit over years to do everything for themselves. They teach them, and they repeatedly teach them the same things until the child knows how to do it for themselves, whether that's brushing teeth, dressing themselves, washing their hands and face, whether it be tying shoelaces or whether it be feeding themselves, and even cooking. As they get older and over, of course, they get more and more prepared to leave home, to be able to do it all for themselves and to have their own family, and then they become parents and they raise children. And that's the same concept that we have with the Homes of Hope discipleship cell. It's a family. It's not a Bible study. It's not just we'll do a Bible study, then everyone go off and do their own thing for some. No, it's a family unit where everybody talks to one another, encourages one another, prays for one another, calls out the gift in everyone. We get them involved so that everybody in the group is involved, whether they are serving teas and coffees or making cakes and coming, or whether they are leading a prayer moment, or whether they are playing an instrument and leading us in worship, or whether they are contributing. We want everybody in the group to get involved in some way and to develop over that period of the manuals. And if you do all 5 manuals, that's 42 weeks in a year. So over the 42 weeks, we should see everybody growing spiritually and growing in confidence and growing in all those aspects of what we are teaching. And of course, the greatest way after is to get that person to turn around and teach somebody else, because the more that they teach somebody else, the more they're seeing it for themselves all over again. It's like rereading the same book over and over. The more you read it, the more you get out of it, because you see things the second time and the third time you never saw the first time. And so it's the same principle. We want people to learn to be disciples, to grow in that environment, but have the confidence to go off and multiply the group and do it to exactly the same thing. And it won't be, of course, it won't be run exactly the same way as it was done in maybe your house, but it'll happen just the same way, because they have a personality about them that's slightly different to yours. But the same priorities should be happening in every group. And the idea is to cover the whole area with Homes of Hope discipleship cells that are discipling. There are other videos to come that will explain more about the Homes of Hope discipleship cells, but this is the one on how to use the manual in the settings of an individual or a group setting. And if you may have a question, how do I get hold of more manuals? Because the idea is for everyone to have their own manual. How do you get more manuals? Well, you can go to our website, which is on your screen, and you can just order them through our website. They're available here in the UK and around the world, and across in America. We have our own office that has all the supplies. You can get them there, but you can write to us at any time asking any more questions. But over the days and the weeks ahead, we were putting up more and more videos on answering the questions that people ask us, so that there's real clarity. I hope you will join us on this venture. The venture and the vision is, the Lord spoke to me and said, I'm to believe for 1 million homes of hope. Well, imagine those million homes multiplying and reaching, even if it's only 20 people each, that's 20 million people discipled for Jesus Christ, just through this ministry. How wonderful that will be. But we want to encourage you and give you the resources, and also give you the confidence to know you can do this. You have the ability to do it, because Jesus said you could, but also now you can go through something that will give you 5 foundational principle teachings. Because if we teach these 5 things to every Christian, you will get balanced Christianity. You will get people who are able to turn around and walk out in all those 5 areas: the worship, the word, the walk, the work, and the witness. Build those into your life, and you'll be a strong believer, confident and able to walk in the things of the Spirit and walk out the new covenant of Jesus in its reality. God bless you. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.